We in a different trying times, and then the crazy part is we did all that to come back and say it's election year,
It's
and
term accelerator is up.
this is uh this is part number three in the conversation. This is hour three, but this is part number three. All right, so downtown this week was a conference. The conference was all over the country. City planners came in to talk about the direction of Birmingham, urban area being gentrified, who and what is because like this what happened. Huntsville is like caught up to Birmingham, right? The tech city has got restaurant arsenal. NASA was there, you know,
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Werner von Braun, Civic Center, like all that. Operation Paperclip right here in Alabama, like it's, but it's the sauce is people from all over the country was here. Then this conference is about how these cities about to go because Birmingham has been seeing some success, and Huntsville's problem is they don't have the transit to match the growth that they're having. So, like, let's say you're revitalizing the city, downtown lofts are now too expensive for the people that's always lived there. Now they got jobs circa to where they live at, but it's too expensive for them to live at, so they gotta move. But now there's no city transport to get them to where they need to go, and you can't displace without like proper transportation and things to that nature, like city services. So like without like the period of time can't be too quick. This had to be like a 3 to 5 to 10 year planning. It can't just be, you know what I'm saying? Like you go build up a new subdivision, but you ain't think about like the toxicity and stuff that's gonna go to the nearby water sources. Like city planning to that extent. So that's one of the things that has been going on in the city this week, and I've been talking to some of the people, and they asking me like, yo, what you think? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, we're way behind. Birmingham could have been Atlanta, but they didn't want the airport back then. Muscle Shoals, Alabama could have been Detroit, but they didn't want it. So
Let me
we
teach
get
you
the
how to
power plants and we
vibe.
get, the Steel City. That's the difference. And
Let me teach you
now
how to
they're realizing they're
vibe.
going to be behind forever and never catch up if they don't get with the program. So you see Protective Stadium, you see Top Golf, you see the Westin, you see the Hilton, you see Ellington Hotel, you see Redmont Hotel, you see Ship, you see all these new things coming in. And the thing is like we put ourselves behind trying not to be a progressive state. Now you have to be to survive. Now how they gonna go about doing it? And nobody wants to invest money to lose, so people are moving from out the suburbs back into the city. And I was like, on one hand, we all know gentrification is gonna come. On the other hand, is when they're capable people of other ethnicities, black, Hispanic, Asian, that have the resources and the willpower to want to be a part of these processes, you can't outsource it where they can't be a part of it. You can't price them out of being part of these developments like they used to do in the past. You can't make it where the people that used to live there can't come back there to enjoy the amenities of what's there now. And I think that's the biggest part that they have to make sure that they careful when they rebuilding the city, because the city needs it financially wise, money wise. Like the city needs these things for tourism, for money to be circulating, jobs. Like it opens up a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that people from Baltimore and some people from the Midwest and some places like that, is like, you might not think it, but y'all are way ahead of a lot of other cities that was on the same type of time, like not wanting to be progressive and got so far behind that they don't even know if they can play catch up to these tech cities and cities that already have this infrastructure to grow, because crime in Birmingham, hoping the Birmingham back Caraway House should have been torn down years ago. And yeah, and I agree, Mike. And they're saying that we're still ahead of a lot of places though. So when you look at it, on one hand, it's like people that want to move here need schools, they need transportation, they need entertainment, they need I mean, already if you move from somewhere to here, like the cost of living is, you're gonna love it because it's better than most places you're gonna find, as far as like square footage on a place and space in between your neighbor and what you could buy and own. Even though post COVID it has went up a lot, with it's good for property owners, but at the same time, like, you want to know, is it a Target or a Publix in your area? You want to know, is there Walgreens and decent gas stations? You want to know if there are decent schools for your kids? You want to know if there's some clean parks that's safe, you know what I'm saying, for you to take your family to go to, like all those different things. And it's like, those are the things that have to be in place if you're wanting to grow and build the way they want to. And that's where the city planners come into effect of saying, if we got so many people moving downtown, like how many preschools is there? What's the capacity for the school? What's the capacity for daycare? What's the capacity for, like, how many grocery stores do we have in that area? How many gas stations? How many lofts are specified for students only? How many are specified for people that work downtown, residents? And the crazy part was, like, they tore down the projects, and I ain't gonna lie, them projects been there for a gazillion years. You need the projects to be gone in between St. Vincent Hospital and UAB. As bad as it may sound, that was always the fear of people being on government subsidized housing and stuff in the first place. Is it was a system meant to keep people there, but once you get stuck there, you can't move. Now the world then elevated them when past, and if you still in the projects and your family been in the projects for 30 years and they getting ready to tear it down to build something new, like, it sounds bad to say, but you should be straight by now. You know what I'm saying? It sound bad, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you can't just push them over and not get no notice. This had to be a process of taking the time to, this can't be no like old school shit where they like make it where old people can't sell their place and eminent domain and take some multi-million-dollar property from somebody for 10, 20,000. We ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about the old school eminent domain shit. We talking about, yo, we're gonna build something, and it's like, to be real, is like you need to go back and reevaluate the people that's still there, anyways. Like, I always thought that like welfare, food stamps, and like Section 8 housing projects, I always felt like that's some shit that should be monitored. Like, man, you doing a person a disservice if you leave somebody in the projects for 20 years. You doing somebody a disservice if you leaving them on food stamps for 20 years because they ain't never had to learn to fend for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that had to be changed. Just like I felt like when soldiers come back from war, a soldier not being able to get mental health or be seen by physicians or have, like my mama spent over 20 years as a police dispatcher, and she was saying how if you got the military police insurance, certain programs don't help you with sicknesses or illnesses and stuff. And like that is ass backwards. Like, the people that's, public servants, military police, like, should not have to be the person like suffering when it comes to like getting medical or any kind of attention like that. Those are the people that put themselves in the biggest danger. You know what I'm saying, for public service. Just like teachers, like a firefighter, a police officer, a teacher, a military personnel should not have to fight for insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like that just doesn't make sense. Under no set of circumstances that makes sense. So my thought is like, why would somebody want to be in that situation? Like, you know, so that's the thing. Like, yeah, Mike, I agree with you. Like people, oh, they're gonna tear away down that hospital. But like, do you want your grandparent, your mother, your kids, or your wife in that hospital with that like third world equipment and shit? Hell no. Nah. Like you want your child to be
Let me
in
teach you how
UAB
to
or St.
vibe.
Vincent's or Brickwood or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's long overdue that some of that stuff get pushed over. I just think like when it is some older people, like in my city and in the shows is different because the West Side is getting bought out and eminent domained out, and they taking it back. So now the places where black people stayed at, and that's the only place to stay. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't allow it in these other neighborhoods and stuff in the 60s. Now, 80s, 90s, people can move in those neighborhoods. Now, the neighborhoods that the black people own, those generations are dying off, and the city taking it back. Like, man, get them people what it's worth. If you're going to try to eminent domain a bunch of old folks or people that property been in their family for 60 years, like get them people what it's really worth. Because y'all going to push over those two abandoned houses and put a high rise right there, and it's going to be $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom flat. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have 100 units in there. Like, come on, man. It don't take us long to do the math on this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and for these things that's done, like it should be local. It should be local contractors getting the jobs, and they should make sure that some of the smaller contractors, you know what I'm saying, if you're going to do diversity, like, okay, like some of the Hispanic, some of the black, some of the Asian contractors should get some of the smaller jobs too. You know what I'm saying? Should get a shot to bid on some of the bigger jobs. Can't just be the same good old boys get to bid on the jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like then that's when the frustration comes from the people is you're going to build, but you're not going to let the local people build and be part of the building process. You basically gonna like block off to where everybody ain't got an equal chance to put businesses downtown. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things, like make it fair. Yeah, Nathaniel, what up? Otherwise it become a crutch and mess up your grind because probably don't abuse it. Yeah, I'm saying like, bro, if somebody was on government assistance, like let's say a woman had kids and she had 2 kids and she was in the projects, and them kids got into like grade school both to where like they could ride the bus, they could get assisted lunch. You know what I'm saying? They could like basically get back home without after school care where it ain't gonna cost nothing. You know, if she in them projects and them kids like go to high school and all this and go to college, bro, like they all shouldn't still be in the projects for 20 years, bro. Nathaniel, what up? So I'm saying like at some point it's gotta be like known, like, yeah, you gonna get this help until your kids like all are this age, but then because I mean the rest of the people, you know what I'm saying, it's just like I would rather work and have the same money to know I'm not depending on somebody else cutting my lights off than me get it free and then the day they cut it off I'm saying look how wrong they doing me. Like let me just say like how food stamps have been in my experience. Somebody like single parent maybe got 1 or 2 kids. What could y'all do with $800 to $1,000 of free groceries every month? Like just the average American family, like what could you and your wife and your kids do with $1,000 a month in groceries free every month for like 2-3, like maybe 2-3 years? What could that change in your household? Oh yeah. Yes, and that's the city planning part is like, yeah, they got Grandview out there, they got UAB West, but it's the sauce is like, if you're gonna have so many people moving into an area, but you don't have the medical or the transportation or the restaurants or the schools that could they could accommodate those sad people, then you're not really ready for that growth. And that's where a lot of these conversations came from is like, hey, yo, you gotta have this. Like, you can't have 5,000 people move into an area and then you don't have another school. You don't have enough churches, enough banks, enough grocery stores. Like, if like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to, like, these people got AI and they got analytics on what the water supply need to look like. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you need another waterworks in their area? Do you need like, because, you know, one thing that like people don't even realize they have trouble with is like picking up the trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, go to any apartment complex in your city right now. Just like don't be on no creepy shit, but just ride through a random apartment complex. Like, not the best that's gated and not the worst that's like some shit you shouldn't turn in, but just turn in there and ride by the garbage can. I guarantee you, no matter what state you live in, you go by the garbage can, trash compactor at any apartment complex right now, the trash is overflown. Even on the day of pickup, it's over. So it's like the city planning ain't built to deal with how to deal with waste management for having an extra 200,000 people moving to a particular part of the city. So like, if downtown added a couple hundred, like let's say 100,000 people downtown,
Let me teach you
100,000
how to
west,
vibe.
100,000 north, 100,000 east, 100,000 south, and we're gonna be on the easy side and say half, like 250,000 people to 500,000 people moving to the Birmingham metro because of the opportunities. You don't have enough schools, transportation, waste management, all that stuff to match those people.